Have you ever wondered why sometimes we make mistakes in our thinking or make choices that later seem not so smart? Well, that happens because our brains work in a certain way and sometimes they can trick us. But here's the good part. If we know about these tricks, we can stop them from fooling us. And that's what we'll do today. We'll not only talk about these tricks, but I'll also give you tools to help you see them when they happen, and we'll tell you how to avoid making those mistakes in your everyday life. Today we are going to talk about some mind-bending concepts like gambler's fallacy and cognitive dissonance, just to name a few. These psychological quirks influences every aspect of our lives, from the product we buy to the relationships we form. So if you're ready to unlock the secrets of human mind, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because you won't want to miss any of our upcoming videos. So without any further delay, let's start the video. 8th common thinking error is Zeigarnik effect. The Zeigarnik effect is when you remember things that you didn't finish doing more clearly than the things you actually completed. It's like having a strong memory of a task you left halfway, even though you might forget things you finished. For example, if you started coloring a picture but didn't finish it, you might remember that incomplete picture very well, but you might not remember what you had for breakfast yesterday as clearly. Our brains pay extra attention to things that are left undone because they feel like they need a closures. Next most common thinking error is paradox of choice. The paradox of choice is when having too many options to choose from can make us feel unhappy and stressed. It's like when you go to a restaurant with a huge menu and instead of feeling excited, you feel overwhelmed and worried about making the wrong choice. Next common thinking error is survivorship bias. Survivorship bias is when we only pay attention to the people or things that survived or succeeded, while ignoring all the others that didn't. It's like looking at the winners of a game and thinking everyone can be a winner without realizing how many people actually lost. For example, if you hear about famous actors who made it big without going to acting school, you might think skipping acting school is a path to success. But what you don't hear about are all the aspiring actors who skipped school and didn't make it in the industry. Next common thinking error is self-serving bias. The self-serving bias is when we give ourselves credit for the good things that happen and blame outside factors for the bad things. It's like saying, I did great because I'm awesome when things go well, but saying it's not my fault, it's because of something else when things go wrong. For instance, if you win a game, you might think it's because you are skilled, but if you lose, you might say it's because of bad luck or unfair rules. It's a way our brain protects our self-esteem, but it can sometimes prevent us from learning from our mistakes because we don't take responsibility for them. Next most common thinking error is hindsight bias. Hindsight bias, often called the I knew it all along effect, is a cognitive bias where after an event has happened, we tend to believe we knew it would happen all along, even if we didn't predict it before the event occurred. For example, let's say a stock market crash surprises everyone. Afterwards, someone might say, I knew the market was going to crash, even if they didn't sell their stocks before the crash. It's a common bias because our brains like to make sense for the past, even if it means rewriting our memories a bit. Next most common thinking error is availability bias. Availability bias is a cognitive bias that occurs when we rely on information that is easily accessible and readily available in our memory to make judgments or decisions, rather than considering all available information. In simpler terms, it's when we let the things we remember most easily guide our thinking, even if those things are not the most accurate or representative. For example, if you hear about a plane crash on the news, you might become more afraid of flying, even though the statistical likelihood of a plane crash is very low. That's the availability bias in action. Remember, my friends, when we understand why we make choices and how our minds work, it helps us live better lives. But just knowing isn't enough. It's what you do with that knowledge that really counts. So here's my challenge to you. Use what you've learned today in your everyday life. Pay attention to your choices. Question what you assume and use your thinking skills. Before we say goodbye, a big thank you to our wonderful community for being part of this journey. Your comments, likes and shares keeps us excited to bring you more fascinating stuff for your brain. We appreciate you. That's all for today's video. If you gained some knowledge or even enjoyed watching this video, please consider like, share and subscribe. It won't impact you in any way, but will be very helpful for us. Thanks for being here and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care of yourself and your family. Jai Hind.